The 840th edition of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Edge Boost, the bank account built for bettors. Sign up today at edgeboost.bet with promo code SGPN and get a free Refs Are Terrorists t-shirt. Claim your t-shirt at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/refs. We're also brought to you by Naira Bets. Get your $25 free bet for the Belmont by going to nyrabets.com/SGPN25. That's promo code SGPN25.
Howdy ho, DeGenerinos. Welcome to episode 840 of the MMA Gambling Podcast and the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, dedicated to one of our friends in the Discord. I haven't given a Discord shout for a while. Piano Lady Jinx Venezi, who has great names, and he's always active in there. So this goes out to you, Venezi. Thank you, everyone, for coming to the episode. I am one of your hosts. I am Kaiser Del Busto, aka Jeff Fox, and we've got the UFC back, and it's a pay-per-view. So in theory, it should be a good card. Today is all about the prelims. We are covering 8 prelim fights today for EFC, not EFC. We're not going to South Africa. UFC at 316. A lot of wide odds though on this here prelim. So let's see what my co-host thinks of the whole thing. That would be Daniel Governor Vreeland. Hello, Mr. Vreeland.
Wide odds, but ones that make you be like, should I double check that real quick? You know what I mean? Like, should I make sure I didn't want to pick the other person? Because there were enough in there that made me like panic before I pick somebody. So like I think that's a sign of a somewhat good fight card, right? Is that like yeah, maybe the books think these are wide odds, but I think there's a diamond in the rough or two in there.
I was gonna predict we have some wide odds. I bet Gummy's gonna at least take a stab at one of these wide dogs. I'm not sure which one.
Depends on what you think about how wide though.
Yeah, there's some 500.
I think I actually wound up a little bit more conservative than I planned. Yeah. I was like this close on like a boatload of underdogs, but you will see I pulled the trigger on maybe less than I usually would.
All right. Well, enough tiptoeing around it. Let's dive right into it. After I remind you, what am I reminding people about actually once I get the actual ad reads up here? I'm reminding you that Stanley Cup finals are here. They're actually going to probably start within a few minutes perhaps of when you get this episode. The Hockey Gambling Podcast is giving away an NHL jersey and a $200 in SGPN gift cards. Enter for free at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Stanley Cup. All right. A place that used to have some Stanley Cups go through there is Newark, New Jersey. The Prudential Center is where the UFC 316 event is taking place. Dvalishvili versus O'Malley 2. We're not going to talk about those people today, though. That would be on tomorrow's episode. Today is all about the prelims, as I said. So this Saturday night, as per usual, we are starting with 6 p.m. prelims, which would be the ESPN Plus or UFC Fight Pass, or depends what region you're in. But that's what early prelims we're covering first here. And we're kicking things off with a 155-pound belt. This one must have just been made fairly, very frequently because MarQuel Mederos is in it, and he was just supposed to fight 2 events ago, or was it last? No, it was 2 events ago, right? It was
last event, I'm pretty sure.
Was it last week?
Okay. It was canceled pretty early last week, though, to be fair.
MarQuel Mederos versus Choinski. Choinski was not on the card to begin with, right? So this is just a event, a fight that they put together last week.
But before you get too worried about him like not being in camp and stuff, he was supposed to fight next weekend for APFC.
Okay, there you go. 155 pounds. To break it down, the Shark, Mark Choinski, 8-0, 1 knockout, 5 submissions. This is his UFC debut. Submission win in his last bout. A regional champ. It's Anthony Pettis, right? Fight.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. That's where he's the champ, and he's at plus 186. Mederos 10-1 with 6 knockouts, never been finished in a fight. 2-0 in the UFC. He's won 8 straight. He's not lost since February 2022. 1-0 contender series. He's outstruck his opponents by 1.14 strikes per minute in the UFC and the contender series. He's Twitch taller than Choinski, a year younger, minus 205. Gumby will kick things off for us.
Yeah, I'm going to start with MarQuel Mederos. This is actually one of the ones that I went like, wait a second to. Because like for those of you who have never seen Mark Choinski, like kind of a fun grappler. Like he's got like some good wrestling, good arm triangles. You know, like he's got good top pressure. You know, in a way that makes it kind of difficult for him to for somebody to get him back up to the feet. And, you know, like all those things could potentially be a problem for MarQuel Mederos, right? Is MarQuel Mederos clearly wants to swing him and bang him, and that's the kind of fight he's looking for. And, you know, I had to go back and I watched his last fight. Was the guy, I want to say John Ramirez? Nope, that doesn't sound right. But his last Anthony Pettis FC title defense, and like the guy he was fighting, first of all, I don't know if he was a late replacement or they just really wanted Choinski on the card because he was 8-7 fighting for the APFC belt.
Yeah.
And like was just like tagging Choinski a lot from the outside before like Choinski eventually got that takedown. And like, okay, so he got the takedown on this guy, but like when you're fighting a guy who's got good footwork and moves away and has, you know, been preparing to be taken down pretty much his whole life, like I think he's going to have trouble finding the range for that takedown when he gets hit by Mederos. You know, like I don't think what worked in his APFC title defense is going to continue to work unless he starts to round out his striking game or at least has a little bit better defense. Because he was getting kind of smacked around early in that fight. You get smacked around by Mederos, it's not going to lead to you setting up your takedowns, right? So like I just don't think he's got the striking defense to hang around in this one. So I like Mederos personally. You know, but again, wouldn't be surprising if Choinski's takedown game got going for some aspect of it. I just don't think it's going to get going for enough.
It was John Ramirez. He only fights Johns apparently. John Ramirez.
Was John Ramirez the name I said?
Yeah.
Did I get that right?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, good for me.
And the John Simon before that. So that's my handicapping.
Which, if I'm not mistaken, is Ricky Simone's little brother.
Oh, okay, Simone. So John Simone, not Simon. So he only can beat people named John. So that's my handicapping to this. No, striker over grappler. If you really want to boil it down, obviously Mederos has fought at this level before. He's not going to be overwhelmed underneath the bright lights of the UFC. And you know, as Gumby said, he hits a little bit differently than the people you're gonna run into on the regional scene. So give me MarQuel Mederos here. A pretty reasonable number, really, right? All things considered.
Yeah, I don't hate that number. Negative 205 is pretty reasonable, but I think that's because the books probably have questions about Mederos' takedown defense, which we haven't really seen too much of. And they know he's getting a wrestler. So that's why you see him as like kind of a discounted underdog.
Yep. All right. We are moving on. Actually, we're sticking with the weight class. Moving on, though, up fight card. Quillan, Salkilld from Australia. Yanal Ashmouz from Israel, I believe. Correct? Yes. 3 5-minute rounds, 155. We'll tell you about Red Fox first. Ashmouz. 8-1, 4 knockouts, 2 submissions. He's never been finished in a fight. He's 2-1 in the UFC. He won his last bout. He went 1-0 on PFL. He's fed at 170. He's been outstruck in the UFC by 1.6 strikes per minute. He's at plus 425. Salkilld is 8-1, 3 knockouts, 3 submissions. Never been finished in a fight. 1-0 in the UFC. He has won 8 straight fights, including TKO win in his last bout. The only fight he has lost was his pro MMA debut, February 2021. He went 1-0 in Contender Series. 3 inches height, 6 inches of reach over Ashmouz, 4 years younger, better striking stats, more active landing strikes, better grappling stats, and he's outstruck his opponents by 1.5 strikes per minute. Minus 475.
That just sounded like everything you ever care about. By
exactly.
The way. That last
it's true. It's all catnip to me, but yeah, this is quite the line though. Ashmouz better than a plus 425 dog here. I'm going to take.
Is he though? I don't know that he is.
Okay.
I'm gonna argue with you on this one because I second guessed a lot of the lines here, especially when they were wide. But maybe it's just that man, I think Quillan Salkilld is amazing. Like I think him and his teammate Cody Hedon might be 2 of the best prospects in MMA right now that people haven't heard of. Like if you're just coming here because you're maybe a little bit more of a casual MMA fan and you don't know the newest guys in the UFC and you don't know the guys on the early part of the prelims, and that's why you needed a prelim, sort of primer here, if I could steal an old podcast.
What a good name.
Like if that's what you're here for and you don't know Quillan Salkilld, like those 2 are sneaky good. Like I would buy futures on those guys right now because they're so sharp on the feet. They're both got good ground games. They're so fast. I think their games are well-rounded. And like we've seen, Ashmouz, the game not well-rounded. It's pretty simple. Throw the big, sloppy overhand, hope that it lands. Did he knock out Sam Patterson or another tall guy who looked like Sam Patterson?
I think he fought Sam Patterson. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, and he surprised us all and bought himself a second life in the UFC. And but Ashmouz is just so good. I mean, like we saw how good Dom Marfam was recently, and he's lost twice to Ashmouz. So, and through grappling, which is just, I mean, that tells you how good he is on the ground, and he's great on the feet too. I mean, like I am huge on Quillan Salkilld. I think he rolls very easily in this one.
Well, that's good because I'm picking him. You didn't even let me make my pick. That's how
I couldn't let Salkilld slander go. So
no, it wasn't Salkilld slander. I guess it was his nickname's Red Fox. So I was feeling bad for him, fellow Fox. But Ashmouz gets hit too much, which is going to be a problem with a guy who's can finish people and he's got half a foot of reach on you and is younger and is well rounded. So yeah, Salkilld is the obvious pick for me as well here. I just would have liked a little better line, but hey, we can't always get what we want, right? But if you try sometimes, you get what you need. Something like that.
Well, I think what we need is a Quillan Salkilld win. That's all we really
need. All right. That's all we need. We're going down now to featherweights. Ju Sang Yu. Sadly, not the Jiu-Jitsu. We have another Yu in the UFC now. He is from South Korea. Jeka Saragih. He is from Indonesia. They are fighting at 145, as I mentioned. And we're going to break it down by telling you about Saragih first. Sadly, this is another one of our wide odd fights. C. Tendejen Maut, the lethal kicker, is what that translates as. Gumby was just about to tell you what it meant, because obviously
I don't know. Is that Indonesian? I don't know that language.
Yes. I assume Indonesian is a language. I assume he's 14-4, 9 knockouts, 4 submissions. He's been knocked out once, submitted 3 times. He owe us rounds, damn it. 1-2 in the UFC. Loss. He got submitted in his last bout. He has not won since November 2023. He went 2-0 in the road to UFC. He's fought at 155. Regional champ. He's barely outstruck his opponents in the road to UFC and in his UFC career he's at plus 0.08 in the strike differential category. Much wider number on the board for him in the betting aspect of things, plus 390. That was Saragih. Not me. YOO is 8-0, 3 knockouts, 1 submission. This is his UFC debut. TKO win in his last bout. Regional champ. Used to fight at 155, an inch taller than Saragih. Minus 500. I assume since the UFC is signing this guy straight off the street and he's minus 500, I assume he must be really good, Gumby.
He's pretty damn good. Have you not seen any film on him?
I may.
What is he a Z Promotions guy? I can't remember. Did you know?
Let me check. I don't want to say if I've seen film or not because people will hate on me if I haven't. That's what got. Yes, ZFN. And also Heat and AFC.
Do you know what ZFN is?
No.
Zombie Fight Nights. It's
okay.
Chan Sung Jung's promotion.
Yep.
Which is kind of fun, and it's now on Fight Pass, which so maybe you'll get a ZFN show on this platform pretty quickly. That which would be fun. I like you. You's gonna be the one who I'm gonna.
I like you too, bud.
I'm gonna go with so I debated this one too. Jeka Saragih is a guy who we won a boatload on way back in the day. I don't know if you remember. We had his KO prop over Lucas Alexander. Or was it the other Alexander? Or Lucas Almeida, Lucas Alexander.
Yes, they're the two we get mixed up, yes.
One of those Brazilians. And it was like 14-1, and he knocked him out pretty quickly. And so I was like, look, if this is a prospect here, because I wasn't super familiar with you, if this is a prospect who only strikes, 3 out of his 8 wins are by knockout, there's a chance he loses this, right? And so I pulled up one of his fights where he was fighting this Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, tough guy to beat on the ground. And he just countered the positions. He had the guys back a couple of times. He's actually a pretty damn sharp grappler despite having only 1 submission win. And to me, that was this is a guy who then has a massive advantage. Because Saragih, the bottom line is Saragih, great striker. Really fun to watch, let the hands go. And just completely out of his element on the mat. Just is not ready to face UFC level talent on the mat. And you has a surprisingly sharp ground game. And I think he can hang on the feet too. Not to, completely just walk away from talking about this being a striking match. But if this is a striking match, it's close and he's in danger of being hurt because Saragih throws so hard. I think he's elusive enough. He throws nice combinations. He works the leg kicks. He kind of keeps his range, which I think all could be good. And then if this does hit the mat, which I think is very probable. I think if he's smart in his game plan, he brings us right down and he subs him. I think he could sub him in the first round, personally. I'm going to take Yu Sang Yu. And for all those of you who are out there and complaining that we don't typically give you overs or under numbers, this is an under all day. I haven't even looked at the line. Under 1.5, under 2.5, doesn't matter to me. This is going to be a quick one.
I like you too, Gumby.
Right on.
I used to listen to you two actually a lot, but I like the fighter you too as well. Yeah, he's actually fought decent people too, at least record wise. If you look at his last three or four fights that they've been against, they haven't been against your typical cans that you've seen the original scene. So give me you here. I don't know if I'm going to dive in on a newcomer at minus 500. Like Gumby said, maybe take some props on this instead, right? Some unders, some finish inside the distance type of thing. So we're on the same page for that as well. And we're also on the same page about Edge Boost. Edge Boost is the first ever bank account built for bettors, ensuring all gambling transactions are approved. No usage fees, no minimums, earn cashback rewards, 100% approval for all betting deposits. You sign up today at edgeboost.bet with promo code SGPN. And if you sign up this week, you'll get a free Refs Are Terrorists t-shirt. All you got to do to get that is go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/refs, REFS, to claim your free shirt. And it's time for Gumby's bonus underdog pick and play. Underdog is going long for the NBA Finals with their extender bonus. Hop in game one. And the longer the series goes, the bigger the bonus gets. Is this series going to go long, though? I don't know. Gumby, do you have a play for the people?
Sure. I'm going to go to, it's still Wednesday night by the time you get this. Hopefully you get it by the 70-45 start in baseball. And I've got a new pitcher that I'm all over. Noah Cameron throwing against the St. Louis Cardinals. The guy has been lights out. People keep not seeing this guy, but in 4 starts, he's only allowed 3 earned runs. He's got a 1.05 ERA. And he's kind of got sneaky strikeout stuff. He's run into a couple of teams that don't strike out that much. He only had 3 last time against St. Louis, but he held them to 2 hits. I think he's going to be higher than on the strikeout stuff right now. And they've currently got him projected for only 3.5. So give me the higher than on Noah Cameron's strikeouts.
All right, take that and take the code I am about to give you, MMA SGPN, and take it over at underdogfantasy.com. And that way you get to claim a special pick and first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. So underdogfantasy.com and our promo code MMA SGPN. And Naira Bets, NYRA Bets. Bet the Belmont Stakes at Saratoga with Naira Bets. Sign up today using promo code SGPN25 and get a $25 free bet plus a $200 deposit match. Bonus, whether you're a seasoned bettor or just getting started, Naira Bets makes it easy to jump into the action. This exclusive offer is just for the Belmont Stakes, so don't wait. Join now and claim your free $25 Belmont bet today at nyrabets.com/SGPN25. All right, one more fight on the early prelims. Hopefully this card does not go into shambles like last week's card. Knock on wood. This is a women's flyweight belt. Ariane Lipski de Silva is what Topology has her listed at. I've seen her just as Ariana de Silva, but it's good for you to know that she formerly was Lipski. She's fighting Cong Wang. So Brazil versus China, 3 5-minute rounds, 125. I'll tell you about de Silva first. She is still the queen of violence. 17-10, 6 knockouts, 4 submissions. Been submitted, knocked out 4 times, submitted once, 6-7 in the UFC. She's lost 2 straight. Before that, she won 3 straight. Got submitted in her last bout. She's fight at 115 and 135. A regional champ, 2013 pro MMA debut. An inch of reach over Cong, 2 years younger. She's outstruck her opponents in the UFC by 0.17 strikes per minute. She's at plus 420. The Joker is 7-1, 2 knockouts, 2 submissions. She's been submitted once, 2-1 in the UFC. She won her last bout. She went 1-0 road to UFC. She is a gold medalist in the world level in Sonda, 8-0-1 in kickboxing as a pro kickboxer. Better striking stats, more active landing strikes, and better grappling stats than de Silva. She's outstruck her opponents by 4.62 strikes per minute, minus 450. Yikes. Another line I don't like. I'm going to take Cong Wang. I'm hoping that she definitely got her prospect loss out of the way. I'm hoping that's it for a little while now, because this would be a good spot for her to pick up another prospect loss. De Silva is tough, but De Silva is not what she used to be. It's dropped 2 straight. I think Kong's going to be better on the feet than her. I don't suggest that she goes to the ground with her necessarily. Hopefully she keeps it on the feet and just pieces her up there. So give me the Joker at minus 450. Yuck.
I disagree with almost everything you said.
Perfect.
First of all, I do think the line's wide enough that you got to go Lipski here. Okay. This is dog or pass for me, 100%.
Yep.
First of all, because I actually think Lipski's better than she's ever been.
Really?
Look, her last 2 losses suck, right? Like, it sucks to be on a 2-fight losing streak, but like Karine Silva, yep, right, who's a hyper prospect right now, right? Great place, won largely by taking her down and holding her down. Jasmine Jasudavicius, we're gonna hold that one against her.
Yeah.
And before that, like, we were talking about the Ariane Lipski resurgence, right? We were talking about her looking like the KSW version of her, to the point where I think I took her over Karine Silva. And granted, again, the takedowns are tough. And that's the other place where I disagree with you on this, I think Cong Wang has to take her down.
Okay.
Like I know Cong Wang is a good striker and she comes from a takedown or comes from a Taekwondo background, but like also Ariane Lipski's hands, I think, are faster. And I think she's also more committed to her strikes. Like when you Bruno Brazil comes forward this much, and all of a sudden Cong Wang's backing off. And like Cong Wang like starts or finishes all of her combinations with like a leg kick with her hands down. I think Lipski is going to step into those and just absolutely light her up with like a 2-hook combo. Enough so that I think there's a chance she gets clipped again, right? Like she got clipped by Gabriela Fernandez the same way by being, coming forward and not trusting, not doing enough defensively against somebody who will step in through one of those leg kicks and hurt her. Now, when she fought Bruno Brazil, she outstruck her by 70 strikes, and that's largely just because Bruno Brazil wasn't willing to step forward and throw those strikes, which we've seen from Bruno Brazil before, right? That's how she got knocked out by was it Denise Gomes? And like also worth noting, that win that got Cong Wang back in the win column was over Bruno Brazil. That she's a strawweight, like she's not a flyweight really, so she was not fighting somebody necessarily in her own weight class here. Yeah, I think Ariane Lipski's faster. I think she's going to give her problems on the feet. And like to your point, like even if she does take her down, we've seen sneaky submissions out of Lipski. So yeah, at that price, I'm willing to take a stab on Ariane Lipski.
Yep, definitely. She's definitely worthy of a plus 420 play for sure. I'm just not taking her because I'm Chalkx after all. And checks. Some books have her listed as De Silva. Some books have her listed as Lipski.
And that's the worst when you're trying to do like film on her too. And you just can't figure out how they have her listed for some of the fights that you want to watch.
Yeah. So if you're at one of those aggregate sites that list odds from various books, and check that because they have it a different, they have better odds for the one last name than for the other, so, which is strange. We are on to the main prelim portion of the card, 8 p.m. start time ESPN, and we got a welterweight belt first. A name that we just talked about, Andreas Gustafsson. We were just speaking of him. That was last week as well, was it not? Last episode, last UFC episode.
Yeah, he was supposed to fight on that card.
Yep, he is from Sweden. He's fighting Khaos Williams from the United States of America. Let's break her down by telling you about Gustafsson first. Bane is 11-2, 8 knockouts, 2 submissions. He has never been finished in a fight, so that will make him durable, ladies and gentlemen. Short notice debut here, since he, like we said, he was supposed to fight last week. That fight fell through. Now they put him into this fight here. He's filling in for someone actually did. Williams was already on the card. He was supposed to fight 2 different people, Uros Medic and then Albert Tade Voisian. Both those
that dude was only in that fight for like 30 minutes.
Yes, yeah. Filled the physical and he got kicked out. So Gustafsson.
I just think he couldn't. I don't think he could get his medicals in time.
Okay,
I think that was the problem.
Yep. So Gustafsson could. So short notice debut, but he was prepared for fight last week. But he would have. When did that fight fall through? Would he have? It was before weigh-ins, right?
Gustafsson would have fought last week. He would have been most of the way through his cut, but I still think that's why they have it at 180 pounds. Actually, no, I think it was on weigh-in day.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken. So I think he had to have been all the way there, which is why it's probably 180 now.
Oh, is this one 180? Because Topology still has it at 170.
UFC mentioned it was plus. They were doing a 180 catch weight.
Okay, cool. All right, that makes a difference, actually. But still, it's still going to be a bit of a weight cut, you would think. He has won 3 straight fights. We're talking about Gustafsson still. 3 straight and 506, all via TKO. 1-0 contender series. Used to fight at 170 and 185. Inch of height over Williams. Better striking stats, better grappling stats than Williams. He's outstruck his opponents. This is based off of one fight. On the contender series, about 1.44 strikes per minute. He's at plus 160. It's really Quillan Williams, Khalin, I believe. He goes by Khaos Williams. He also goes by Khaos the Ox Fighter, obviously. 15-4, 8 knockouts, 1 submission. He's been submitted once. He's durable. 6-3 in the UFC, 2-1 over his last 3, 4-2 over his last 6. Submission loss in his last bout. He's a regional champ. 4 inches of reach over Gustafsson, 3 years younger, more active landing strikes. He's outstruck his opponents by 0.17 strikes per minute, minus 188. And we kick it over to Gumby.
I'm going to go with Gustafsson here.
I was thinking that as well.
Yeah.
I have a question mark, though, beside it, so you're going to have to totally sell me on it here.
All right, so here's my thought on this one. Both of these guys, big sluggers, right? Mm-hmm. Like that's, I mean, like clearly the type of fight they put together. Actually, when the fight got canceled, everybody's like, hey, Khaos Williams needs a dance partner. That would be sick. And I was like, yeah, no, actually, that would be a sick fight, right? Like this is this is a good bit of accidental matchmaking here. But the other reason why I like Gustafsson more here is like the type of violence we've seen out of Gustafsson has been like, get in the clinch and make this ugly, right?
Yeah.
Make it really ugly. He is absolutely brutal with the elbows from short range. He's a guy who loves to make things dirty. And like he wears on you. He tires people out incredibly. And like that's the last thing Khaos Williams wants, right? Khaos Williams wants you to fight him from boxing range in a boxing match so he can land that big, absolute bomb of a knockout, right? Because that's where he's good. So like if you crowd him and you keep him up against the cage and you wear on him, first of all, if you do wind up in range again, that KO shot is going to be maybe a little bit less powerful, first of all. And then second of all, on top of that, like even if that KO shot isn't less powerful, like the likelihood of him being in a clinch is, going to take that shot away for more minutes than it doesn't. So I think like between the fact that he's going to have less opportunity, between the fact that I think he can zap the energy from him, between the fact that I think he could hurt him in the clinch, like there's just so many opportunities here for Gustafsson. As long as he imposes the game plan we're familiar with and we love from him, like I think he's a bad matchup for Khaos in that case. And two, on top of that, like don't sleep on his submission skills. Right. I might say that a lot here. He doesn't have a lot of submissions on his game, but like he is pretty good on the mat when he gets it there. So yeah, I like Gustafsson here for a lot of reasons.
As I said last week, his name's Gustafsson. Of course, he can do some submissions. All right, I'm sold. I will take him as well. I was leaning that way as it was. We were both high on him for the last UFC event.
And for Contender Series. I was a big Contender Series Gustafsson fan.
Yeah. And I can always use a dog, I could always use an extra dog here or there. So give me Andreas Gustafsson here. All right. We're going to the big boys, Gumby. Serghei Spivac versus Waldo Cortes-Acosta. Oh boy. Spivac is from Moldova. Cortes-Acosta is from Puerto Rico. Am I right? No, there?
Dominican Republic.
Dominican Republic, yes. 300 rounds, 265. We'll tell you about WCA first. That'll be Waldo Cortes-Acosta. He's salsa boy. We just had a salsa, the salsa king, or the king of salsa, a couple episodes ago. Salsa king. Yep. 13-1 for the salsa boy. Maybe he'll someday be a king. 6 knockouts, 1 submission. He has never been finished himself, which is impressive for a heavyweight. He's 6-1 in the UFC. Somehow they found the 6th worst UFC fighters, heavyweights possible, and fed it to him. He's one of those people with amazing names on his resume. He's won 4 straight though. Knockout win in his last bout. He's not lost since April 2023. 1-0 Contender Series, LFA champion, 1-0 in Bellator, 6-4 as a pro boxer. An inch of height over Spivac, 29 pounds heavier than him based on their last weigh-ins. Better striking stats, more active landing strikes. He's outstruck his opponents by 2.29 strikes per minute. Plus 120. We joke on it a lot, but he actually has a very good resume. Just not a lot of good names on it. Spivac is Polar Bear versus Salsa Boy. 17-5, 7 knockouts, 8 submissions. He's been knocked out 4 times. He owes his rounds. 8-5 in the UFC. Loss over his last 3. 4-2 over his last 6. TKO loss in his last bout. He's a regional champ. 2014 Pro MMA debut. 4 years younger than Cortes-Acosta. Better grappling stats. He's been outstruck in the UFC by 0.28 strikes per minute, minus 138. Despite saying that Cortes-Acosta's resume is good, he's still not good at this fighting thing. Polar Bear is going to maul Salsa Boy here. Basically, he's going to live up to his nickname. He's if he's smart, he's not going to stay on the feet. He's going to take him down as quick as he can and take care of this on the ground. So give me Serghei Spivac at a very, very nice number.
Are people sleeping on how good he is on the ground?
Yep, that's
like
his thing.
Off his back, on top. He's shown time and time again that he can beat big boxers and he can beat grapplers, right? Like how long did it take him to sub Marcin Tybura in that fight, which was inexplicably a main event, right? Like I think that one was on my birthday that year, and I was like, damn,
happy birthday to you.
I can't believe this is the card I'm getting. But he's so good on the ground, like in arm triangles and the way he just beat the hell out of Greg Hardy, who's I don't know, not that many steps behind Waldo Cortes-Acosta, in my opinion. No shade here, but that's Waldo Cortes-Acosta is maybe a little bit more fundamental, but it's the same game plan. And to your point, you mentioned, he's got kind of an ugly set of people who he's fought, right? Is it Jared Vandera? Is it,
I can go through the rogues gallery for you.
I want to say Chase Sherman. Chase Sherman, probably.
No one near Serghei Spivac's level. He has beaten Ryan Spann, Rubelis Despagne, Andrei Arlovski, but old. Lucas Brzezinski. He lost to Marcos Rogero de Lima, who is not as good a grappler as Spivac. He lost. Right. He beat Chase Sherman, Jared Vanderla. Yeah,
hit both of them. Yeah. And through all that ridiculous resume that you just read, he has a 67% takedown defense.
Yeah,
which means he's letting up 1 out of every 3 takedowns to that crew.
Yeah, who are the grapplers there? Really, one person.
Yeah, de Lima, right? Probably, and Vandera are the attempts he probably saw, and he's defending 2 out of 3 of those. He's defended 0 out of 3 against Spivac. Like, Spivac is a sleeper in this division. Like, I actually think he's way better than people give him credit for. And if he rounds out his hands, and especially at his age, like, he could still be a threat in this division, which is kind of the crazy thing. And I think he's going to take him down. Arm triangles coming. Give me Serghei Spivac.
Yeah, he's still one of the youngest heavyweights, I think. He has been for ages, but yeah, he's younger than Waldo Cortes-Acosta. So he's kind of like Stefan Struve. Stefan Struve was in the UFC forever, and he was still the youngest heavyweight as well. He is only 30 years old, just turned 30 in January. So, all right, before we get to the rest of the card, let me remind you that Circa is giving away their ultimate. They have the ultimate fantasy football giveaway going on right now. Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas is giving away the ultimate fantasy football experience for a 12-person league to draft in Vegas and be treated like VIPs for their stay. You'll get a limo ride from the airport, a $5,000 tab for a stadium swim, and a hotel stay for you and your 11 league mates. You can always get 15% off at all the Circa properties with our promo code SGP15. And you can enter the Ultimate Fantasy Football Contest for free at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/circa. That'll be sportsgamblingpodcast.com/CIRCA. And we're brought to you by Rhythm, RITHMM. You've heard us talk about Rhythm before, and they just dropped a game-changing feature called Power Trends. These are AI-detected patterns where Rhythm's model has consistently won and has a high ROI. For example, a strikeout prop that wins 59% of the time when the line and win probability hit a certain range. Power Trends are updated daily and exclusive to Rhythm. No touts, no noise, just clean, data-backed bets. Download the Rhythm app, check out Power Trends, and start betting it smarter. You know we will be. I'm going to put Gumby on the spot again. What power trend type of thing should we look up? Usually
where do you think I got my thoughts on Noah Cameron's strikeouts?
Oh, okay.
Obviously you got to go to Rhythm to get information like that. So pay attention to Noah Cameron tonight.
Nice. There you go. That's a power trend. Get your 7-day free trial today. You can check out Power Trends and everything else they have to offer at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm, RITHMM. And of course, we are brought to you by the mighty MyBookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet in every sport, including the NBA Finals. For the true degens in MyBookie money bag, MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations, easy deposit, lightning fast payouts using crypto. Check out all the UFC lines that we're talking about today there. And when you do head to MyBookie.ag, use our promo code MMASGPN. That way you get a 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions apply. That's MyBookie.ag, promo code MMASGPN. All right, 2 more fights on this here episode of ours. We are going down to flyweights. Bruno Silva from Brazil, Joshua Van from Vietnam, 3 5-minute rounds. Is it Vietnam? Did I get that right? Yeah, he's Vietnamese. No, Myanmar.
You just threw me off with the order. Yeah. Did you get it in the right order?
Oh, sorry. No, I skipped a fight. We had 3 more fights to do.
All right, cool. My graphic was right. Let's go back.
two more fights, but I skipped one. This is cool. 205. 205. Sorry about that. Azamat Murzakanov, definitely not a flyweight. He is from Russia.
That's why it threw me off. I was like, these are boys.
These guys are boys. Brendson Ribeiro, who I famously picked to beat. Who did I pick him to beat?
I don't know. You picked him when he had no
chance.
Oh,
Zhang Min Yang.
That's who I picked him to beat. And then you didn't pick him to beat somebody else, and he proved you wrong.
Yeah. So let's see.
I think you're 0 for 3 on Brendson Ribeiro breakdowns.
So everyone, I know you ignore my picks. Despite everyone ignores me anyway, despite me having good results, but definitely ignore this one. The gorilla is Brendson Ribeiro, 17-7 with 1 no contest, 9 knockouts, 7 submissions. He's been knocked out 3 times, submitted twice. Yeah, he owes his rounds too. 2-2 in the UFC. He's won 2 straight. Before that, he lost 2 straight. Before that, he won 3 straight. So he's a streaky guy. So 2-0, 2-2, 5-2. Submission win in his last bout. 1-0 contender series. Regional champion. He's fight at 185. 2015 pro MMA debut, 5 inches of height, 10 inches of reach, 7 years younger than Murzakanov. Better grappling stats than Murzakanov. Murzakanov should just go on a diet and drop down a weight class, I think. When you hear those stats, Ribeiro has been outstruck by 0.38 strikes per minute. He's at plus 455. The professional versus the gorilla. The professional.
Do you think that's a Leon the Professional reference?
Maybe. We probably talked about that before.
It sounds
Ask
like
him.
we have. I love that movie.
Have him on your show. I don't know if he speaks English, but have him on your show.
I think that would be difficult for me.
You've had people with translators before. You've had Kai Bahayo be a translator on your show before.
Yeah.
I don't know if Kai Bahayo speaks Russian though. All right, Murzakanov, 14-0. That would be perfect record. 10 knockouts, 1 submission, 4-0 in the UFC. Knockout win in his last bout. He was on the good stuff in the past. He failed a drug test for some good stuff. 1-0 contender series, regional champion. Used to fight. He has been fighting since 2010 professionally in MMA. Better striking stats, more active landing strikes than Ribeiro. He's outstruck his opponents by 1.82 strikes per minute. He's at minus 500. Another wide one, Gumby.
Yeah, this one's not hard though. No. I'm gonna take Murzakanov,
which means he's gonna lose because I'm taking him as well.
Oh yeah, I don't like being on the same side of you in a Brendson Ribeiro fight. But no, the bottom line is he's got good wrestling. He does good at crowding people. Brendson Ribeiro, he does have like really long strikes, but he doesn't necessarily fight long. Like he throws the long strike, but is there to be hit on the return. So it's like offensively strikes pretty long. Defensively is in like a really bad spot to get cracked on the return. I think that just leaves so many opportunities for Murzakanov to capitalize and win this fight.
Murzakanov via knockout, perhaps, Gumby? That's what he likes to do.
We're
going to wait till tomorrow for that.
We can wait till tomorrow for that, but I don't know if it'll be all that. Like, I bet you don't even get that at plus. I don't know what the number is, but I would be surprised if it was plus something.
Well, we'll have to look it up before we give out our props. Yeah, I'm taking Murzakanov as well. Obviously, like I said, he's going to crack him on the feet, and he can fight dirty and like in the clinch. I mean, or dirty. Maybe he's on drugs again. He'll fight dirty. And obviously, he can. His name's Murzakanov. Obviously, he can wrestle if need be as well. So, Murzakanov is the pick. Now we're getting the flyweights. Flyweights are main eventing the prelims. I had them co-main eventing. They're main eventing.
Fight too.
Yep. Very good fight. Bruno Silva, he is from Brazil. Joshua Van from Myanmar, not Vietnam. My apologies. I was mistaken him with which guy was I thinking of? Who is our never mind. Doesn't matter. I don't even think he's in the UFC. Antoine Ho. He's a Vietnamese fighter.
Oh, yeah. No, that's not Myanmar either.
no, that's Vietnam. Is why I said Van was from Vietnam. But
he got re-signed to the Contender Series, by the way.
Yes, I saw that. Nice. Hopefully he gets in. Just sign him. Just put him in a fight. All right, we'll tell you about Bulldog first. That would be Silva. He's the only Bruno Silva in the UFC now. 14-6-2 with 1 no contest, 6 knockouts, 4 submissions. He's been knocked out twice, submitted once. 4-3 with 1 no contest in the UFC. 4-1 over his last 5. TKO loss in his last bout. 1-1 in the Ultimate Fighter. A regional champ. He's fighting 135. 2011 pro MMA debut. He's been outstruck by 0.54 strikes per minute, plus 500. The fearless Joshua Van is 13-2, 6 knockouts, 2 submissions. Knocked out once, submitted once, 6-1 in the UFC. He's won 3 straight and 11 of 12. Regional champ, an inch taller than Silva, 11 years younger. Better striking stats, twice more active landing strikes. He's outstruck his opponents by 2.86 strikes per minute, minus 549. Hate to get in another massive line like this, but obviously I love Joshua Van. Way better striker here. He can crack, and he's 11 years younger, which is a massive advantage for 125 pounders. So give me the fearless Joshua Van.
Yeah, this is one I debated longer too.
Yeah.
And if anybody's watched me break down a Joshua Van fight and talk about how much I love that guy, you'll know how what that means about this line is that's how wide it is. Because look, I do think he's better. I think Bruno Silva is probably going to want to take down in this fight, more takedowns. We've seen Joshua Van get taken down before, but he's so quick back to his feet and he's got such good cardio that I think that that is going to wear down Bruno Silva. Like Bruno Silva is going to have success with the takedowns, but I think then he is going to crumble and lose this fight by being slower and more tired and in a worse spot. So for all those reasons, I like Joshua Van here. I think as long as he cranks up the pressure and gets up after the takedowns, I think the cardio wins this fight.
All right. I agree. And Murzakanov is minus 250 for knockout. So you won't hear us talking about it on tomorrow's episode. I just looked it up. All right, let's recap. And we'll get out of here. Get back in your orifices tomorrow. We both have Van. We both have Murzakanov. Both have Spivac. We both have Gustafsson. We both have... No, actually, we don't both have. I was thinking it was a team ride, but no. I have a Cong. He has De Silva. We both have you. That's you. both have Salkilld. We both have Mederos. Boom, you're all set for the prelims. We'll be in the Discord discussing a lot of talk about Sean O'Malley in our Discord, if that's your jam. People seem to be very intrigued about this rematch we're going to talk about tomorrow. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord is the spot to go for that. We are, of course, on YouTube. You may be watching us right now. You can hit us up in the comments, MMA Gambling Podcast. If you could subscribe, if you're not already, subscribe to us from all your burner accounts as well. It would help us out. SGPN MMA on Twitter. He's at Gummy and I'm at Jeff Fox Writer there and on Instagram. Enter my free pick'em contest for the UFC. Win real prizes. Money, MMA.substack.com. All right, Gumby. Oh, actually, you do know who's on Top Turtle because they just showed up in my feed today. So who is on Top Turtle, Gumby? Tell the people.
Yeah, I'm talking with Mansour Abdul-Malik, who is fighting next week at UFC Atlanta. And I'm talking to Jeremy Lukau, who is a head of athlete development with Iridium, as well as the promoter of 559 Fights. So that's like a fun talk about like the mistakes that prospects make trying to get to the UFC.
Ah, nice. I'm looking forward to that. A little different, which is good. It's not just fighters. Talk about the fights. Excellent. And I assume Mansour Abdul-Malik is as positive as ever. As he
yeah, dude is. I love. we talked about him losing a round for the first time ever, and he was like, "It was great." And I was like,
"He's one of those guys, people."
Yeah. Man, his energy is infectious.
Yes. He's one of those guys. Anyhow, it should be a good listen. I'll be listening to it after this. So check out Top Turtle. Of course, we're at sportsgamblingpodcast.com, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store. To get all your merch, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon to get some bonus content. We're going to be back tomorrow. It'll be Red Fox, Jeff Fox. It'll be the lethal kicker, Gumby Breland. We'll talk to you then.